guys, AMP Studios put together pre-recorded calls for you this week. Most of us are in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, enjoying the sunshine, and we hope that the message you hear from our leaders today will inspire you to earn that trip to Thailand. See you soon.
Welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. Now let's hear it for our special guest host, Stephen Davies.
Oh, welcome to the TWC. This is a very special TWC because I am currently on the extension. Yes, I am speaking to you from the not so distant past. I come to you from the past bearing a message that I think will be very important to you being on the extension with us in Thailand. Because let me tell you something, you got to win the extension for Thailand. You got to win the extension for Thailand. I mean, this is halfway around the world. I mean, it's like, here's where we are, and it's flip the globe around. It is the other side of the world, so you got to win the extension. So that's what I want to talk about today. It's like how to make sure, no matter what, you take what we've got left of this year, because we've only got a little bit left of the year, and you say that's not true. I've got July, I've got August, I've got September. Let me tell you something. The days are long, but the months are short, brother. So if you don't get after it, it's going to slip away. Let me tell you something. There's nothing worse than the December just fear, the worry, I need this to issue. Oh God. And what's even worse than that is the January. Hey, I think that really issued back on December 31st at 11:59 p.m. and 59 seconds. And so that really needs to count for last year. And I need that to count for last year. I don't want you to do any of that. I want you to come in screaming, smoking. I want you to come in December, make November and December just cash stacking months. You know what I'm talking about? Just cash stacking months. I saw it because trips won, extensions won. That's looked after. That's taken care of. I'm in cash stacking mode. That's where I'm at. That's what I want for you. And so that's why I want to share the message I've got for you today. And so if you're on this TWC, it's because you're not currently on the extension with us. And so I just want to talk to two specific groups about my message for today. You might be brand new, like you just signed up this year, so you couldn't have won the Mexico trip. You couldn't have won the Cabo trip. It was impossible based on calendar and science and the space-time continuum. There was no chance for you to have won this trip. Let me tell you something. No one, and I mean no one, is rooting harder for you to win Thailand than me. I love. I love being on these trips with brand new people, because here's the thing, being around brand new people keeps me brand new people. Does that make sense? Like, I never want to get to a point in my life where I'm just like, so over it. So over it. Yeah, I've already been there. And I don't want every one of those people. I always want life to be brand new. Let me tell you something. Life, business, marriage feels like the first time is a choice. That's why I like to be around people who win the trip for the first time. It just gives me fuel. It gives me fire, fills my heart up. So nobody's pulling harder for you to win this trip to Thailand. And so what I'm going to share with you about emotional strength, it will help you win the trip to Thailand. I promise you. The things I'm going to talk about over the next little bit here, they're things that I work very hard. Like, be crystal clear. I have not got all this figured out. So most of what today's TWC is it's a reminder to Stephen Davies. This is the Stephen Davies Reminder Hour. I'm glad you could tune in and join us for the reminder hour from myself to myself. That's what this really is. But I'm telling you, it's a reminder to me, but I'm telling you, if you do these same things, you will win Thailand. It's going to help you win Thailand. So that's to my brand new people that could not have, based on calendar and the space-time continuum, have possibly won the trip that we are currently on, that I'm currently on in the future and speaking to you from the past. Now, my second audience, you may not like my message, but please hear me out. Please hear me out. Please hear me out. Please. Pretty please with gumdrops on top. Hear me out. Okay. So you've been around the Alliance and you missed the trip. Maybe you've even hit previous trips, but you missed this trip. All right, I'm going to do it. I got to do it. So it's 3 words. It's 3 simple words. And just know that this is coming from the best place of my heart. The best place of my heart. Because I do not want to go to Thailand without you. So here's my 3-word message. Let it burn. Let it burn. Let it burn. Oh, God, let it burn. Use it as fuel. Use it as fire. You use it as the never again. Use it as the never again. In fact, you're gonna call Tia Land and say, send me a Cabo poster because I'm gonna put it in my office and I'm gonna spray paint the words never again on it. And never again am I gonna miss a trip. Never again. Because here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to be one of these mentally weak people that just either uses denial, like, well, I should have won the trip, but stupid Transamerica, stupid Mutual of Omaha, stupid CVS, they done screwed up a draft and it was their fault, and ain't my fault, and ain't my fault, ain't my problem. I didn't do it. Not my fault. Not my fault. Don't be that. Don't be that. Dear Lord. Dear Lord, don't be that. Or delusion, right? Like, well, the way that Andy set the trip parameters were such that nobody could win. Don't be delusional and don't explain it away. Don't explain it away. Don't explain it away. Like, well, you see what had happened. No, 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 no. You and me are mentally strong. So when we miss stuff, we don't do those things. Don't explain it away. Well, you see what had happened, or even worse. Well, it was Cabo, and so having been to Mexico one time on a cruise, I just really just wasn't just didn't hit me, where I live going to Cabo. I didn't really want it, and that's why I didn't win it. Don't, no, 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 don't, please, don't, please, 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 please. That's what I'm saying. You missed the trip. It's okay. Do you want to, hey, I'll make you feel better. I got a list in my drawer of things I've screwed up. I can just pull it out right now. We just go over it. Let it burn, but use it as fuel because I do not want you to miss Thailand. I want you with us in Thailand. Thailand, by the way, from everything I've seen and having just a glimpse, an iota into the planning, which I'm not pretending to know all that Tia and Jennifer do. But just having a glimpse into oh my God. I need you with us in Thailand. I want to have fun with you in Thailand. All right. So if you're brand new, Thailand is your trip. Maybe you missed this one. Thailand is your rebound trip. And I'm serious. I would 100% get a poster and spray paint never again on it, like graffiti style. Anytime I need a lot of stuff like that. That stuff gives me fuel. Does that make sense? I'm the same way, right? Like when I miss levels, like, by the way, just hey, so in the month of June, I did not follow up on the same level of success that I had in May. So I didn't hit a level. So guess what I've done? I've made it visual. Like if you could see what's right in front of me on the other side of my computer. So I'm that kind of way. So that's what I'm saying. Let it burn. Don't explain it away. Let's use it as fuel. Let's win Thailand together. All right. So here's what I want to talk about: mental strength. Let me tell you something. What you can achieve and what you can keep depends on how mentally strong you are. And we've all heard stories, right? Massive success rise, right? Loses it all. What's the problem? Mental strength. Didn't have the mental strength to keep it. And we all know people that haven't succeeded at any level in life. What's the problem? Mental strength. And it's not just business. Business, yeah, it's pretty clear to understand that. Let me tell you something. If you want to have a thriving, happy marriage, if you want to have happy, thriving relationships with your children, especially when you're not in charge, which those of you that have reached that level of life like I have, where you're no longer in charge with one of your kids, if you want to have a happy, thriving relationship, it takes mental strength. If you want to have a happy, thriving, growing relationship with your spouse, it takes mental strength. Anything worth doing in life takes mental strength. You can only have the depth in any relationship based on mental strength. And let me tell you something. And on this, I am speaking on behalf of the entire world. So just hear me out, because this is from the whole world. So on behalf of the whole world, I would like to say we've got plenty of mentally soft people. We got them everywhere. We got them coming out the nooks and crannies. We got all the mentally soft positions are currently full. What we need is more mentally tough people. We need more mentally tough people. We don't need more mentally soft people. We don't need any more millie-mouthers, complainers, excusers, blamers. We don't need any more of that. We need mentally tough people in order to solve the problems that we face every day, in order to move on to bigger and better accomplishments. We need more mentally tough people. So we need you and me. I need me to be more mentally tough. I am going to work to become more mentally tough. because again, this is the Stephen Davies Reminder Hour. You just get to join in for a little bit. Welcome to my brain. But we need more mentally tough people. Now, here's the thing. It's not what you think that makes you mentally tough. You might say, well, wait a second, because that's confusing, because mental is inside my brain, and my brain is where I do my thinking. So mental toughness has to be all about what I think. No, no, no. Here's a really cool thing. And this is a secret. It's about what you actually do. Let me be crystal clear. There are plenty of mentally weak thoughts that bounce around my head. So if you think, well, I have mentally weak thoughts, hey, welcome to the club. It's not what we think that determines how mentally strong we are. It's what we do. It's when we choose mentally to do something different than we might be thinking or feeling. You see, that's true mental strength. It's not what you think. It's what you then choose to do that determines how mentally strong you are, because that would be your mental strength overriding thoughts and feelings and then determining motor skills and actions. That's mental strength. So I just want to be clear about that. What is mental strength not? Let me tell you something. Mental strength is not bravado. Oh God. You ever seen one of these guys? I had one of these guys one time. He'd tell me all the time, I'm the mentally toughest person you ever met. You can tell me anything. I got the thickest skin. I'm the most toughest person ever. And then you try and coach him a little bit, and then you end up part of a passive aggressive diatribe. It's like, oh, that's not mental toughness. Or you coach somebody and then they disappear. It's like, where'd they go? The coaching made them disappear. Right? I'm not talking about bravado. Just if by the way, it all falls under Shakespeare. So Shakespeare, right, wrote one of the best lines ever. Methink thou dost protest too much. And so if you have to tell people how mentally strong you are, it's actually an indication that you're not mentally strong, right? I'm mentally strong. Okay. Yeah, methink thou dost protest too much. Let me tell you what mental strength also isn't. It's not bottling up your feelings and living in denial. That's also unhealthy. Right? We go back to what I was talking about. It's about what you do. It's not about what you think. You can still think and feel things that aren't mentally tough, but it's what you decide to do. That's the toughness. And mental toughness is also not blind positivity, right? I just think everything will work out. All I have to do is believe in my heart and follow my dreams, and everything will be fine. And no sad days, no rainy days are coming my way. Not now. I've read a book. I believe. I'm using the secret right now to control all future outcomes. That's blind positivity. Let me tell you something. Anything worth doing is going to be hard. Anything worth doing is going to have difficulties, right? And again, that's why what we accomplish in life is going to be determined by how mentally strong we are. We can rise to the level of our training, sure, but we're going to fall to the level of our mental strength, and that's just a fact. And so, what does mental strength take? Well, it's three things I'm going to talk about with you briefly here. One, thoughts. So it's identifying, the ability to identify and sort thoughts, because you're going to think emotionally weak things. You're going to think irrational things. I do all the time. So I promise you, on the flight to Cabo and on the flight back, there was plenty of people thinking irrational thoughts, right? On the plane, you ever seen this? Like, right? You know how irrational that is to worry about dying in a plane crash? I mean, you're way, way more likely to die of choking at your own dinner table. But yet nobody's taking a bite of, and these statistics back me up on this. I'm not making this crap up, but there's nobody taking a bite at dinner going, God, not this time. I'm about to take a giant risk here. And I just don't know if I can. Oh, God. Okay. Live to fight another day. Right? Nobody's doing it. But it's the ability not to stop irrational thought. It's to sort. It's to identify and sort and replace them with more realistic thoughts. What's a more realistic thought? So Dumb and Dumber is one of my favorite movies. If you don't like that, we're probably not going to be good friends, and that's fine. We just don't have to talk about that. We'll talk about other things. But Dumb and Dumber is one of my favorite movies. It's one of the funniest movies of all time, right? So one of my favorite scenes is when Lloyd Christmas is driving her to the airport, and he's like, nervous about the flight? And then he turns around and he's like, odds are most people die on the way to the airport. And he's like, you see a bunch of crashes happen and stuff like that. It's the ability to identify irrational thought, sort it, replace it with more realistic thought. So that's the first axiom, because there's like 3 axioms of mental strength. The second is behaviors. Behaving in a positive manner despite circumstances. When I see people choose to behave in a positive manner in a negative circumstance, even if it's a stranger, I mean, it takes everything I can do not to just hug a stranger around the neck, because I just that's where, I mean, it hits me where I live, right? The ability to behave in a positive manner despite circumstances. If our behavior is circumstance driven, we are in fact in that moment, in this, notice I said in that moment, acting mentally weak. To give into the circumstance and behave in accordance with the circumstance means in that moment we chose to behave mentally weak. Remember, I told you, it's not what we think, it's what we do. And so do I behave in accordance with circumstance, or do I behave in accordance with principle? Right? People say, well, yeah, sorry, I treated you so bad. I was just having a bad day. No, you're being mentally weak in the moment. We've all done it, by the way. We've all done it. The key is, let's just do it less, right? That's all we're trying to do, is do it less. We're not trying to be perfect. No one's capable of perfection. What we're trying to do is do it less. Behave in a positive manner despite circumstance more often. Right? I love the Oprah Winfrey quote. You can tell a lot about somebody on a rainy day or when they lose their luggage, right? So if you lose your luggage, that's a crappy circumstance. Now all I got is my airplane funky clothes, right? And airplane funky clothes that's a real thing. And I'm more than a little neurotic. So whenever you travel on these trips with me, like when we go to Thailand, I'm gonna be very hard working on my mental strength, trying to stay centered on my mental strength to not act in accordance with my airplane funky clothes after all those hours. I'm going to try and be positive, right? So behaving in a positive manner, despite circumstance. If our behavior circumstance driven, in that moment, we have behaved mentally weak. And then the last thing, emotions. It's choosing to take control of our emotions so that they don't, in fact, control us. It's one or the other. One of us has the wheel. Us or our emotions. And let me tell you, low performers, this one, they're like, emotions take the wheel. Right? Emotions take the wheel, because it's like they can't they think they can't control it. They think it's unique to them. I was trying to coach somebody one time, because their habit would be, they get triggered by their downline and then they just light them up and it'd be like, well, that's just the way I am. I wear my heart on my sleeve. And it's like, bro, that is not a badge of honor. Right. And it was almost like they were looking at it like, I tell them like it is. I tell them like it is. No, don't tell them like it is. Tell them like they can handle. Does that make sense? Leading people is often disappointing them at a pace that they can endure. Does it make sense? So it's thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. All right. So what I'm gonna talk about over the next little bit here, I'm gonna list 13 different things, and it's just, look at it like this. We're taking our temperature, right? How mentally strong am I behaving or not behaving? We're not. It's not here for an indictment, right? We don't want to look at this and go, Jesus, I'm just a mental weakling. No. This is a way for us, and I encourage you, come back to this video, watch it again. This is a way for us to take our current temperature, right? How am I currently behaving emotionally? Because we're all on the spectrum. At any given moment, we're either moving more towards being mentally weak, or we're moving towards being mentally strong. Now, if you had to take a guess, what the world around us pulls us towards, what do you think it pulls us towards? It's going to pull us towards being mentally weak, because most people are mentally weak, right? Water seeks its own level. So just know that to move to this side of the spectrum, it's going to take determination. It's going to take focus. And guess what? You're just like me. I'm sorry to tell you, you're not special. I mean, if you want to believe you're special, that's cool. But I know what's for real. And that is, you and I are going to be on the spectrum. And then every once in a while, we're going to do something dumb and be like, we got to move back towards mental strength. So it's just a way to take our temperature. Does that make sense? It's not an indictment. It's not a final, like, at the end of this call, having considered all 13, we will know who is mentally weak and who is mentally strong. It's just a way to take our temperature. Does that make sense? All right. So number one thing we're going to talk about, first thing, Mentally strong people don't feel sorry for themselves. Mentally weak people feel sorry for themselves. So if we're looking at that scale, over here is I don't feel sorry for myself. Over here is I feel sorry for myself. Well, what's the solution? What I mean, so how can we, if we're operating on the spectrum, that's really what I want to talk about. Like, how do we move one way or the other? Well, one of the easiest, simplest ways to move towards mental strength is to exchange self-pity for gratitude. Now, here's the thing about self-pity. Self-pity, it feels good. It feels good. It does feel good. It'll numb the pain. Self-pity is a narcotic. It should be classified as a narcotic, right? You know, if you have surgery and you have to get a narcotic and they're like, here's one pill, come back tomorrow. Like, you have to, because they're like, they want to be careful about that and for good reason. The crazy thing is we're allowed to abuse self-pity with free abandon. We're allowed to abuse self-pity with no government oversight, right? We can just have as much self-pity as we want. But self-pity is a narcotic. It is absolutely a narcotic. It'll numb the pain for a little bit. But like any narcotic abuse, it will leave you empty, derelict, and dysfunctional. There's no third direction, right? So when we feel the need to reach for self-pity, again, remember, it's not what we think. Believe me, I will have self-pity thoughts all the time, right? We go to reach for the self-pity. Mental strength is no, that's a narcotic. Not putting that in my body and mind. I'm going to reach for gratitude instead. You might think of self-pity as a narcotic. Gratitude is the cure. So we can either numb the pain or we can reach for the cure. That's what it is. Here's the other thing I'll tell you. When self-pity starts, change the channel. Now, I'm very simple in the way my brain works, so I need stuff that helps me, like, make it simple. So when I start to reach for self-pity, and maybe I took a little self-pity. A little self-pity just now. Oh, that was dumb. Change the channel. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. What am I grateful? Oh, no. What am I grateful for? What am I grateful for in this moment? I'm grateful for in this moment. You know what? Hey, that really sucked, but I'm alive. That really sucked, but Holly still loves me. That really sucked. By the way, everybody should get them a golden retriever, because if you come home with two golden retrievers, I mean, there is nothing dumb I can do during the day. I mean, they're just like, this dude. This dude's awesome. I love it when he comes home, man. He's so cool, right? Right. Change the channel. Just reach for something you're grateful for. I'm grateful for my golden retrievers. They're going to make me feel better, right? So when self-pity starts, just change the channel. Change the channel. It's also important, when we start to feel sorry for ourselves, do a reality check. Here's the problem with if we don't do a reality check, it's the exaggeration spiral, right? No one ever talks about the upward spiral. Right? It's all spirals are down for some reason. This is another one of them. When we start exaggerating our situation, it's a downward spiral. Just know that why me is the last mile marker on the highway to woe is me. So why me? That's the last mile marker on the highway. The next mile marker, the next exit, woe is me. And once you get off the woe is me exit, you've allowed the self pity narcotic to just take you to a terrible place. So here's the things, right? Reach for gratitude and choose to actively problem solve. Choose to actively problem solve. Let me tell you something. Until a man or a woman can digest hope, give them something to do. Until a man or a woman can digest hope, give them something to do. When someone is in those spaces, guess what I do? Just try to get them busy. So the same thing that works on them works on me. So if you want to stay away from self-pity, insulate yourself with your calendar. The more tough stuff you're going through, the more packed of a calendar you need. Insulate yourself from self-pity with your calendar. That's how you will stay away from the destructive, dysfunctional narcotic that is self-pity. All right, second thing, it's about your power. Do you give away your power Do you keep your power? Mentally weak people give away their power. That's why they get so little done. That's why at the end of the day, the list of accomplishments is nothing. Worse than that, the end of a year, the list of accomplishments is nothing. Worse than that, you can get to the end of a life and have a list of accomplishments. It's relatively nothing if you give away your power. Why? Because you need your power to accomplish. So that's why mentally strong people keep their power. What are some ways to give away our power? Let me tell you something. Being easily offended is one of the most expensive habits you can have. Now, I don't know about you. You might be a trust fund child. I've tried to look into that all my life. There's not a lot of openings, but I'm not a trust fund child. So guess what? I can't afford to be easily offended. I can't afford it. It's far too expensive. What mystifies, what confuses me is when people that can barely afford rent and car payments indulge in being offended. This makes no sense. You can barely afford the necessities, yet you're indulging in being offended. Being offended is one of the most expensive habits you can pick up. I mean, have you ever seen anybody that's easily offended accomplish a lot? No. Have you ever seen anybody easily offended? Like, though they're super easily offended, but my God, their marriage is thriving. No, no. Being easily offended is a crazy expensive habit when it comes to accomplishment, when it comes to affection, and when it comes to fulfillment. That's what you're paying. So when you go, I'm going to be offended, just pull out your wallet. Oh, I meant to have my wallet for this. Pull out your wallet, flip open your billfold. I still remember when I moved from, or I moved, I say I moved, I was 9. My parents moved from Fort Lauderdale, Florida to Sylva, North Carolina. And the first time I heard someone say, get your billfold, I'm like, billfold? What is a billfold? Oh, a wallet. Oh, you mean wallet. Yeah. So get your wallet, get your billfold, whatever you want to get your purse, get your change purse. Or maybe you got one of those like carnival, like change things on your side. Just get it, just picture that. Every time you go to be offended, just go, well, let's see. I don't like what you have said. I am going to be offended. But let me go ahead and hold on. Let me settle this bill. Since it's going to be a bill that I'm creating by being offended, let me just settle this here. So here's 28 affection dollars. Here's 28 accomplishment dollars. Here's your 28. And I got, well, it's going to, let's see. So I need 42 fulfillment dollars to settle that. Okay. So there we go. All right. So I am offended, right? That's what you're doing. You're paying for it with positive emotions. And here's what's worse. When you choose to be offended, all that good stuff you give away because you're paying for it now is no longer available to the people you really care about. That's what's crazy about being easily offended is people will allow someone that is not going to factor into their future to rob them of stuff that they would rather give to people that are going to be a part of it. It'd be a shame to spend your day getting offended, use up all your good stuff, and have nothing to give the fam, right? What's another symptom if we're giving away our power? Ooh, grudges. I was coaching a guy one time, and he just said, "Hey, I'm a grudge kind of guy. I hold a grudge." And I was like, whew, that might be one of the less enlightened ways to live a life that I've ever heard. To be a grudge holder, to be a grudge holder, that's even worse than being offended, right? Because you get offended, you got to pay for it. So you settle that bill, you give away your fulfillment, your accomplishment, your affection, you give that away. To carry a grudge would be like taking out a loan on a fence. So it's like, I'm going to finance that offense over the next 28 to 42 years by carrying it in a grudge. God, don't do that. That's weakness. That is weakness. That's weakness. What else is another way that can pull us this way? Past hurts. Hold on to past hurts. Sure would be a shame to let a past hurt rob you of the future, right? The past hurts. Here's the thing. The past hurts is like driving, looking in the rear view mirror. That's simply that's what it is. You're driving, looking in the rear view mirror. Just going, all that bad stuff. Like, no, let go of past hurts. That's going to pull you towards mentally weak behavior, holding on to past hurts. Here's another one: other people's drama. One of the things you'll hear, and I'm noticing that as the sun is changing, bear with me. The sun is changing. I keep getting into the sun. So what's talking about? Other people's drama, OPD. I'm not down with OPD. Yeah, you know me. I ain't down with OPD. No, other people's drama. What? That's giving away your power. I just can't believe. Can you believe? Can you believe what happened? Can you believe it? I just can't believe it. Oh my goodness. What are we going to do about it? Who cares? If I'm not married to you and I wasn't a causation factor in your birth, I'm sorry, but your drama just doesn't really come into play in what I'm going to do with my emotions, because I want to keep my power. That makes sense. But when you let other people's drama, they're taking your power, bro. Here's another one: worrying about what's fair. Mm, low achievers. That's all they talk about. It's not fair. It's not fair. I shouldn't have to. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. Let me tell you something. If you're truly grateful in life, you're not worried about what's fair. If you're truly grateful in life, you're not worried about what's fair. You're just not, because gratitude fills your heart and it doesn't leave room for worrying about what's fair. Here's the other problem with when you move towards this side and you start giving away your power instead of keeping it, you're letting other people determine your self-worth. So just when you start going this way with any of those behaviors we talked about, just picture this: if you went to someone else and was like, yes, I know you offended me. I know I'm holding a grudge against you. I know you have drama. However, could you please give me an assessment on my self-worth? I would like to know, in your eyes, what is myself? We would never do that. So why would you care about what they think? Does that make sense? Never worry about what someone thinks if you wouldn't go to them for advice. Here's another thing, right? Victimhood. If we start to feel like a victim, we're giving away our power. They made me. They made me so mad, so sad, right? They made me. No. Remember, mentally strong people don't give away their power. If you give away your power, then yes. If you give away your power, yes, somebody can make you, but not if you keep your power. Not if you keep your power. But here's the other thing when it comes to giving away your power: it's taking full responsibility, right? Like if I miss a promotion, which I did, if I'm going to give away my power, then I'm going to explain why. If I'm going to keep my power, I'm going to go, yeah, but we won't get them this month. We are going to get them this month. Normally, if we were on a TWC, I would have someone change my curtain. So bear with me as the light moves across my face. I'm trying to stay in the shade. So I'm ducking and bobbing and weaving here. All right. All right. Where are we at? Oh, here's the thing. Here's the last thing I'll give you on this. When it comes to keeping my power or giving away my power, it's the decision to never let your emotions have the final say. It's the decision to never let your emotions have the final say. When people give away their power, it's because they say, okay, here's all the things I think. Well, let's go live to emotions for my decision about this. No, don't ever let emotions make the last decision. All right, the third thing we'll talk about. Again, it's all just tuning in. Like, where are we at right now? Where are we operating at on the scale of mental strength? Embracing change. How do you feel about change? Mentally weak people, they try and hide from change. They're scared of change. God, they complain about change. I just remember when things used to be. I'm like, oh gosh, stop talking about it. It's never going to be again, right? Unless you got a time machine. If you got a time machine, you got to tell me, because I got some pretty funny ideas of some stuff we could do. It might mess with the whole space-time continuum, might radically change your life now in the present, but God, it'd be funny. I got some really good ideas. So if you got a time machine, you have to tell. Other than that, why would we talk about what used to be, other than maybe thoughtful, prayerful reflection and gratitude, right? Like, super grateful. The happenstance that I met Holly, I mean, it's razor thin that I could have met her or not met her. So I'd look back on that with gratitude and reflection. But to constantly look in the past and complain about the future, that's pulling us this way, right? So here's the thing: change is inevitable. So why waste emotion fighting the inevitable? Like if you woke up tomorrow morning and your spouse is like, so what are you going to do today? Well, honey, I'm off to fight the inevitable. Yes, I am. I'm going to spend all my time, energy, emotion and I'm going to pour it into the futile endeavor of fighting change. See, when you say stuff out loud, it helps us realize how silly it is. It's silly. It's silly. It's silly to fight change. Why would you fight change? Don't fight change. It's inevitable. Now, here's the problem. When we fight change, we never receive the benefits of challenge. You see, when we fight change, we never receive the benefits of challenge. And think about this. All you estate planning seminar people, I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you. Everybody that's not done an estate planning seminar, that's like, well, I don't know. I don't know. Come on, get on board. What are we doing? What are you doing? You're fighting change. So you're putting off receiving the benefits of challenge. Every time you fight change, you push off, you push away. It's like, God, get these benefits of challenge away from me. Don't want any of that on me. As for me and we will live in the past. You can keep those benefits of change, sir. I'm not interested. Right? That's what we're doing, though, when we fight change. So all of you that jumped in on estate planning, that's my people right there. That's my people right there. Why? Because you're benefiting from the challenge. You're receiving the benefits of challenge. Like Adam Burge got paid like 100 grand in April, right? So that is a benefit of challenge. And if you're like, well, I'd like to get paid 100 grand in a month. Don't fight change, because when you fight change, you're actually fighting, pushing away the benefits of challenge. And let me just tell you something about change when it comes to changes you have to make, because we're talking about change as a subject, right? So changes that happen, changes that are now available. Estate planning wasn't available, 3 years ago. Hesitation makes the hard heavier. That's one of the things I live by. Hesitation makes the hard heavier. It doesn't make it lighter, it makes it heavier. Because the longer you hesitate, the longer you wait to embrace change, it makes the hard heavier. Change will always be hard. If you're waiting until change is going to be light, just know that you're actually performing the opposite. That's a fool's errand, friend. Don't do that. Don't do that. Hesitation makes the hard heavier. That's just the facts. That's just the facts of the matter. Here's the thing about making positive changes. We all have a list, right? I'm working on mine, and I hope you're working on yours. Because if we fight those positive changes, here's the really bad news. This is it, friend. You and I are done getting better. Yikes. I'm talking to you from the past, so I'm hoping that I, don't do anything dumb on the Cabo trip, right? But here's the thing: I have done dumb things. If I don't keep working to get better, then my life is going to be a series of more closely linked, closely grouped dumb things, right? I don't know that we'll ever be able to stop doing dumb things, right? But what I would like to do is just have a little bit more time pass. And here's what I've noticed: when more time passes between the times that I do dumb or annoying things, they tend to irritate Holly and those that I love less. It's when that grouping is tight, boy, that's hard to get over. So let me give you some strategies then on to stop fighting change. Anticipate and name the obstacles that you're going to face. Anticipate and name the obstacles, and then identify a strategy. When you do that, when you anticipate and then name the obstacles of this change, whether it's a positive change you're trying to make as a person, whether it's a change in the business, right? Hey, if y'all think direct mail leads are going to be here in another 15 years, you're dreaming. You're dreaming. I mean, my son's 21. I don't even know that he has a mailbox. He might be 22 or 23. Either way, here's the point. I don't even know that he has a mailbox. Everything's online. Everything's digital. So if you want to say, well, I need more direct mail leads, your time would be better spent trying to invent a time machine. Does that make sense? So what are the obstacles? If I got to move to estate planning, if I'm trying to make this positive, what are the obstacles? I'm going to anticipate them and name them and come up with a strategy. What that does is it takes the teeth out of change. It takes the teeth out of change. Here's the other thing I'll give you with change. Little changes one at a time. Don't get lost in the enormity. Don't get lost in the enormity of it. When we try and make, and low performers do this, they do all or nothing changes, right? They'll go into trying to get slimmed up for a trip, and they'll go, I am going to stop all sugars, all carbohydrates, and I will only eat raw kale from this day forth until Cabo. I shall only eat raw kale. That's not sustainable, bro. Right? But we could do 2 less sodas today, right? We could Cut out little Debbie's. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like just little things at a time. That's how you create momentum. All right. I got to keep going. I'm running out of time here. Number 4, what you focus on. Mentally weak people focus on the uncontrollable. Mentally strong people focus on what they can control. Now, this is just bear with me on this. This may not make, I had to wrap my mind around it. Like I know it to be so because I've read it in books, but I had to wrap my mind around it, right? Being a control freak is a symptom of being mentally weak. No, here, right? Because it just off the nose, it just doesn't seem right. Like, well, I'm trying to control everything because I'm mentally strong. No, here's the problem. When you're a control freak, that means you're taking ownership of things you can't control. That's mentally weak behavior, and it's going to lead to disappointment, regret, and discouragement. So if we focus on what we can't control, it pulls us towards mentally weak. What can we control? There's 2 things. There's only 2 things on God's green earth that you can absolutely control: your attitude and your actions. Outside of that, all you have is degrees of influence. So why would you be a control freak when you only have degrees of influence? Here's what, based on what I've read, here's what I try and do every day. I try and focus on influencing others, not controlling them. All right. Now that's just one part of control and uncontrollable. What's the other thing that pulls us towards being mentally weak, focusing on things we can't control? It's problem forecasting obsession. God love mentally weak people. They 100% have problem forecasting obsession. They're obsessed with forecasting problems. Well, the thing about that is, well, if you get into estate planning seminars, the thing about that is, let me tell you what's going to be a problem for you. Okay. I know all the problems, right? Just be aware if somebody only knows the problems and doesn't have the solutions, they have no information. I'll say it again. If someone only talks about problems but never brings solutions, they have no real information. Problems aren't hard to find. Dear God, they're not hard to find. I mean, they're not hard to find. Solutions are hard to find. That's real information, right? So when people engage in problem forecasting obsession, that's mentally weak behavior. What are they doing? They're focusing on things they can't control. What do mentally strong people do? What can I do today? There are absolutely things I can do today to get started on crafting the better future I want. There are absolutely things I can do today to get started on crafting that better future that I want. What's another symptom of being mentally weak? Worry borrowing. I've had a great deal of worries in my life, most of which never happened. That's pretty close to a Mark Twain quote. I meant to find the exact quote, but I didn't find it in time. I was a little time pressed. A lot of stuff to get done before Cabo. But it's pretty close to that. Mark Twain said, you can look it up. I've had a great deal of woes and worries in my life, most of which never happened. Worry borrowing is mentally weak behavior. It's mentally weak behavior. Now, I'll tell you this. That's hard to say. Say it 3 times fast. Worry borrowing. Worry borrowing and problem fixation. Just know what that is. That is simply a substitute for doing what we know we can do. When we start reaching for the mentally weak side of that spectrum, it's because we don't have the guts to do what we know we need to do. Because that's far easier. It's far easier to just go, well, I could call all my leads, but start, instead of doing calling leads is simple. Calling new recruits is simple. But instead reach for worry borrowing. Or problem forecasting obsession. Don't do it. It's mentally weak. All right. Number 5, how we feel about pleasing others. People pleasers are on the far left side of the mental strength spectrum. It's a very mentally weak behavior to be a people pleaser. But now remember, we'll go all the way back to the beginning. It's not what we think. It's what we choose to do. So maybe if we've been in the pattern of people pleasing, we just have to choose to do something different. It's going to be hard work. I know you can do it. Here's what helps me when I think about being a people pleaser, because I'm just like you. I want everybody to like me, right? I'm not a sociopath. Just know if you want everybody to like you, it's a great sign that you are not, in fact, a sociopath. If you deal with people pleasing, it's in fact a sign that you are not a sociopath. Welcome to the non-sociopath society. Now, what you want to do is not continue to people please. Just know that it means you care about people. You don't want to let people down, right? But understand, on the mentally weak side of the spectrum, people pleasing is a values problem. You know how people say, well, I'm just a people pleaser. Try saying this instead. I have a serious values problem. Oof, that hits a little different, doesn't it? Right? Because we want to say, like, I'm a people pleaser because I'm a good person and I want to. It's 100% a values problem. It's 100% a values problem because you're not living in harmony with your values if you're always reaching towards how do I please people, please people, please people, please people. Just know that people pleasers are some of the worst enablers on planet Earth. People pleasers neglect their values to give their time, energy, and effort to things that ultimately make them resent the very people they seek to please. And it's a values problem. So what are some symptoms? If I tend to be a pushover. Now, this is interesting. This one's, stay with me. Image obsessing is a symptom of being a people pleaser when it's about how I look and how people see me. It's just another form of people pleasing. I mean, God help these people that post pictures of themselves all the time. Just like, why are you so image obsessed? It's because you're a people pleaser. Image obsessed people are people pleasers. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to get likes. They're trying to love me, please. Love me, please. Like and subscribe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just don't be image obsessed. Don't get me wrong. Don't go the other way, right? Where it's like, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. That's not, again, that's a values problem too, right? There are certain people you should 100% care what they think about you. Do I care what Brian Adams thinks about me? 100%. Do I care what the Tom Dempsey and the other top people of integrity think? 100%. Do I care what Andy Albright thinks? 100%. Do I care about what Holly thinks? 100%. Do I care about what the people important in my life based on my values? Yeah. So it's not the extreme. What it is strength is in the middle. All right. What's another symptom? Conflict avoidance. I just don't want to. I just don't want to. I just don't want to bring it up. I don't want to make them feel bad. No. Don't say that. Say this. I'm just scared of how they'll respond and how that'll make me feel, because that's really what it is. What's another symptom? Like, what shows that we might be this too far? If we're constantly seeking praise instead of fulfillment. See, mentally strong people seek fulfillment. Mentally weak people seek praise. Praise. So if self-pity is a narcotic, praise is cotton candy. And you crash, right? It's only temporary. Fulfillment is sustaining. So while praise might be cotton candy, fulfillment is a nutritious meal. It's sustaining. That's why mentally strong people focus on fulfillment. They don't look for praise. Think about this. When it comes to other people, keep a short list of who matters. I have a very clear mental list. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in my head. I get it. It's like me and Tinsley we were joking around the other night. Like we do a lot of characters and we joke around and stuff like that. And she just like at one point goes, there is a lot going on up there. So yeah, it's a lot. So like I have a mental like nightclub bouncer, right? And so when someone comes at me and tries to make me feel a certain way, he's like this, right? You ain't on the list. You ain't on the list. So that helps me. I hope it'll help you when you start to fall into people pleasing mode and someone's trying to make you feel a certain way, trying to guilt trip you, trying to, manipulate you. You ain't on the list. Helps me. All right. Thought I'd share it because it helps me. Thought I'd help you. All right. Here's the thing. How do you do that? Identify your values and then just use them as a filter. If it's not in harmony with my values, the feedback is useless. And just realize every yes requires a no. That's why yes is the most expensive word. Yes is the most expensive word because you don't pay for it with money. You pay for it with life. Yes is the most expensive word, not because you pay for it with money, but because you pay for it with life. Because it's going to require no, because you're going to give that time elsewhere. So be careful. Now, here's the thing. So we talked about hesitation makes the heart heavier. Here's a really cool opposite of that. Every time you live true to your values and say no, the next no just got lighter. Every time you live true to your values and say no, the next no just got lighter. The next no just got lighter. Why? Because you're stronger now. It's not that the no weighs any less. It's just that you're mentally stronger. So that next no is lighter. Ain't such a heavy lift after all. All right. Now, when it comes to agreeing with people, people pleasers agree with negative and cynical people, even when they don't agree with them, just to fit in, just to fit in. Again, can you see why I say people pleasing is a values problem? It's a values problem. So, mentally strong people, they care about what a small group of people think. Mentally weak people, God, they're worried about what everybody thinks. They're worried about what everybody thinks. All right. Number 6, calculated risks. Mentally weak people, fear them, hide from them. Mentally strong people, embrace them. Embrace them. Again, everything worth having is on the other side of risk. One of my favorite jobs on planet Earth, anybody that's seen me around kids knows this. One of my favorite jobs on planet Earth is being a dad. Like we were just in Anaheim at the West Coast event, and the Rojas had the Rojases. Well, I'll let you decide. Let's put a poll up. We'll vote on what we call plural what we call plural Rojases. It's Rojases, I think. But God, they had their baby there, and it's like just like that stuff. Fills my heart, man. Being a parent is one of my absolute favorite jobs. I just love it. It's crazy fulfilling, but guess what? It is crazy on the other side of risk. It is crazy on the other side of risk. The bringing another human into this earth is a crazy risk. And then the crazy risks continue, but that's where the fulfillment is. Does that make sense? Everything worth having in life is going to be on the other side of risk. Having a fulfilling relationship. What if she says no? Right? I make this joke all the time when I'm out there doing trainings. I wasn't worried about asking Holly to go out because we weren't currently going out before I asked her to go out. Right? And that's a risk. Everything worth having is on the other side of risk. The same thing with business. I'm not talking about recklessness. That's different. I'm talking about smart risks, like stuff that's been proven to work, getting an office, hiring a staff, moving into estate planning. Don't, please, I'm begging you. Mentally weak people stay final expense junkies. They don't want to try anything else. They don't want to try anything else. Notice how final expense, so they stay final expense junkies and they just keep bouncing around between different final expense leads. I got move into calculated risk. Why is it calculated risk? Yeah, you might screw up, you might have some problems along the way, but it's proven, right? Estate planning works. Estate planning seminars work. It's proven. So it's a calculated risk. It's not recklessness. Hey, making phone calls on a dial jam, like in front of other people? No, not me. I could never. What if I get not taking someone in the field? I've had plenty of, I don't want to take anybody in the field. I don't want them to see me sell. What if I don't sell? Bro, like, take a calculated risk. Hey, flying to go see your new recruit, right? I got a new sharp guy in San Diego. In fact, not long after I get back from this trip that I'm currently on, that I'm speaking of from the not so distant past, I'm going back to San Diego because I talked to a new recruit. My staff said, this dude is sharp. This dude he checks the boxes that we're looking for. I said, book me a ticket. I'm going to go see him. Now, I don't know if you know this. San Diego is not Asheville, North Carolina adjacent, right? So I was like, what do I got going on? So I was going to Detroit to do a meeting. You go to Detroit, you hang a left, about 4.5 hours later, you'll be in San Diego. That's a risk, but it's a calculated risk. Why? Because we have the markers. And this guy was checking the boxes. And now so I am speaking to you from the distant past about the present. And yet I'm speaking to you forecasting the future, that the San Diego meeting on June the 24th will be packed out, that it will be the meeting that will be the start of the Southern California takeover, right? This is like Inception. So if others have succeeded at it, it's not a risk. It's an opportunity to learn. If others have succeeded at it, it's not a risk. It's an opportunity to learn. Or if the principles and the coaching point that way, It's not a risk. It's an opportunity to learn. So what do? Find someone further along the journey and just ask, is this a risk or am I hiding from risk? Is it a rational thought or am I hiding from risk? That's one of the reasons I like that. That's one of the reasons, by the way, I love spending time around bold people, right? I love spending time around the other integrity partners at the Alliance because those are bold people. When I'm around those bold people, I get bolder. I get even bolder. So we'll close this last point with this. Don't let momentary discomfort rob you of a life worth living. Dear God, don't do that. Don't let momentary discomfort rob you of a life worth living. All right. Next thing, how you feel about the past. Mentally weak people, they desire or dwell in the past. Mentally strong people, they value the past for the lessons it teaches, but they don't hold on to the past because they're focused on the future. Now, there's two ways the past can harm you: the good old days syndrome or the pains, mess ups, and mishaps of yesteryear. So living in the past, what it's really doing is just stealing from your future. Don't get me wrong. I look at the past with great joy, with great gratitude. I look at some of the hard lessons I've learned, but I'm focused on the future. That's where I've got to stay. That's where I need you to stay. Here's the problem with the good old days. Let me tell you something. They weren't as good as you remember. Right? Another great movie, Napoleon Dynamite, right? Uncle Rico. If you haven't seen Napoleon Dynamite, you need to watch Napoleon Dynamite. Stop being a weirdo. Just join the club. Watch Napoleon Dynamite. Uncle Rico, right? Mentally strong. I'm sorry, mentally strong or mentally weak? Mentally weak. That character's mentally weak because he's focused on the past. Oh, coach just put me in the game. I'm pro, right? Focused on the past. The good old days are never as good as we remember them. That's the problem is when we get distance to a situation, we forget some of the hurt, we tend to exaggerate how good it was. Now, here's the psychological problem with that. When we exaggerate how good the past was to maintain psychological balance, we then automatically exaggerate how bad the problems of the present are. When we exaggerate how good the past was, we then automatically psychologically exaggerate how bad the problems of the present are. Can you see how that would just be totally disabling? How about the pains, mess ups, and mishaps of yesteryear? When you're constantly replaying those and looking back at them, here's the problem. Every time you make a new mistake, it adds to that weight. So now you've got this giant sack full of problems because you're going to keep making mistakes. Hey, I'm always grateful. Like, hey, I will tell you, I did screw something up this week, and I was like, well, at least I'm still alive, because that's the only way to not make mistakes. I'm trying to make less. I'm trying to make less. Here's what we need to turn the could'ves and should'ves into wills, right? The could'ves and should'ves, I'm going to spend my time turning those into wills. I'm going to be on the hunt in the future, and I'm going to turn them into wills and dids. I'm going to take the could'ves and should'ves, and I'm going to turn them into wills that I turn into dids. How about mistakes? Let go the lesson. Learn the lament. Let go the lesson. I'm sorry. You don't have to be perfect to do this. Learn the lesson. Let go the lament. Learn the lesson. Let go the lament. What can I learn from it? Okay. I'm going to stop beating myself up about it, right? Here's the problem. The past can't be solved, but the future can. So why would we spend time focused on something we can't solve when we can solve the future? All right, number 8. Mentally weak people make mistakes over and over. Mentally strong people are deja vu people. Why do mentally weak people make the same mistakes over and over? Because they hide from the consequences. They hide from the negative feelings. Just know this. If you're going to be a deja vu person, you need to experience the temporary pain of consequence. You have to experience that if you're going to be a deja vu person. I try to be a deja vu person. So when something comes up again, it's like, I've seen this one. I've seen this before. Not this time, Stephen. You know what to do now. We're going to do something different this time, buddy. Let me tell you something. When it comes to mistakes, behavior suppression only works temporarily. Behavior replacement will work indefinitely. And here's why: it allows you to reserve self-discipline for new tests because you've cultivated positive habits. When you cultivate positive habits, you're able to reserve your self-discipline for new tests. You can only do that if you cultivate positive habits that override past mistakes, past poor decisions, past bad habits. Sit in the disappointment for a second. Let it do its work. This is, again, my opening comments, right, about let it burn. Sit in the disappointment for a second. Let it do its positive work, and then get to work. Don't make excuses or refuse to examine your role when things go wrong. Sit in that disappointment for a minute. Garner the lessons. Let go the lament. All right, how we view other people's success. Mentally weak people, they resent other people's success. Mentally strong people celebrate other success. So when someone else succeeds, right? So we had this in the company several years back. Nick Greco came in and grew like crazy. Jeremiah Adaki and that whole team is now just blowing the doors off of people. It's so and that's going to happen again. There's going to be another. Why do you think all the top leaders recruit like crazy? Because we know there is an element of chance in it, right? We can't control who answers the ad. We can't control all that, but we can have as many lines in the water as possible so that the next big success story is on our team, right? I couldn't be more grateful, more happy for my brother Katz. I love that dude. I love him and Beth, and I'm so happy that they're thriving. The mentally weak behavior would be to downplay or downsplain. If you catch yourself downplaying or downsplaining other success, it's a dead giveaway that you got low self-esteem. So don't do it. Like I don't even get mad anymore. You see irritated, like, why are you trying to downplay something? Now I just go, oh, that's sad. Little buddy's got low self-esteem. Because that's the only reason. It's the only reason you would downplay or downsplain. Downplaying is, well, it's not that big a deal. Downsplaining is, well, here's the thing. I heard, here's the thing. I know for a fact. There are very few things you know for a fact. Stop acting like you know all the facts, right? That's downplaying or downsplaining. Just know it's a dead giveaway that your self-esteem is low. So when someone new comes along, because it's going to happen again, someone new is going to come along and they're going to destroy you. They're going to pass you. Why? Because you got a list of things that you should have been doing that you didn't do. Like you didn't get into estate planning like you should have. You didn't get staff like you should have. You didn't recruit like you should have. So then someone comes on and just blows past you. What are you going to do? Will you be inspired by them, or will you be defeated by your insecurity? Will you be inspired by their success or defeated by your insecurity? There is no third direction. There is no third direction. Let's mean you choose to be inspired. Getting past should be a call to action, never a call to animosity. Getting past should be a call to action and never a call to animosity. There is no way, no universe, no belief pattern, religion, whatever. There's no belief system out there that would tell you that jealousy and envy are good for you. There's no universe in which jealousy and envy are not toxic for you. Mentally weak people, they secretly experience joy when someone else has a setback. Again, in what universe is that not dysfunctional? Just knowing letting one dysfunction in the front door is only going to allow more dysfunctions. Once you open the door to dysfunction, they bring their friends. They bring their friends. Don't do that. Don't secretly experience joy when someone experiences a setback. Feel delight when people win and let it fuel your determination. The best question to ask when you get past is, what have I not been doing that they are? Again, if we're towards the mental weak side of the spectrum, it's just a values problem. We got to get back to our values and celebrate, experience joy for others that are winning, because just know that joy pulls us up. It pulls us up into positive action. Now, I had this conversation at one of my trainings because I was trying to explain to him this thing, like, don't do this downsplaining and downplaying. So what if someone truly gets ahead because they did the wrong thing? Well, I'm here to tell you something. Again, Stephen Davies from the past, speaking to you in the present, begging you to carry this with you into the future. What if somebody really does get ahead because they did the wrong thing? Does it happen in this world? Sure, people get ahead in this world because they do the wrong thing. Well, here's what I want you to carry with you. Here to remind you that you're not in charge of universal punishment or meting out of consequences. So stop acting like you are. It smacks just a little bit of arrogance. You and I, we're not in charge of universal punishment and the meting out of said consequences. So let's stop acting like we are. And let's just go do what we can do and pour our hearts and souls into helping others, helping lift others up. All right, I got to get these last few in a couple minutes here because I want to give you some extra time to get after it while we are away. How you feel about failure? Mentally weak people give up very quickly after a failure. Mentally strong people look as failure as just another mile marker on their way to success. And just know this: neither failure nor success are final. They're just current statuses. That's all. And as long as we keep moving, we will get to success. A failure just means you didn't win that time. Again, going back to my May, we didn't hit the level that I wanted to hit. I didn't win that time. Doesn't mean I'm not going to get it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it and more. I promise you that. It just means I didn't win that time. You know, I'm using it as fuel. Mentally weak people, yeah, they give in. Just know, so like the new Pearl Jam album. I love the new Pearl Jam album. I'm a big Pearl Jam guy. I've been a Pearl Jam fan since I was in high school. There's a song, there's a lyric in one of the songs where he says, just remember, every winner has had a losing streak. Right? Every winner has had a losing streak. I love that. That's a great line. I know sometimes people are like, only audiobooks for me. And I'm like, I like to find values, affirming stuff in as many places I can find it. I love that line from that Pearl Jam song. Just remember, every winner's had a losing streak. You might be in the middle of yours. It doesn't mean you're not going to win. Just keep going. When you beat yourself up over failures, right? Like maybe the seminar didn't work out like you thought it was going to work out. Maybe the first 5 appointments didn't go good. Maybe the guy that you thought was going to be your next person, you flew out to see him, you thought of that, and then it turned out they weren't. Here's the problem with letting us slide towards the mentally weak end of the spectrum. Here's the problem: we're linking our self-worth to things that we can't completely control. Remember, what's only 2 things you can control: your attitude, your actions. Those other factors can sometimes go against us. If we just attach failure to our soul and our being, we're linking our self-worth to things that we can't completely control. Why would we do that? It's an exercise in insanity. Every time I think about beating myself up and letting a failure get the best of me, I always go, sure am glad Thomas Edison wasn't this mentally weak, Stephen. How about you get your act together? Why? Because if Thomas Edison was that mentally weak, we would not have gotten lights. So I'm going to get my act together. All right. The last 3, I'll give you this because we are running out of time. Mentally weak people fear alone time. That's why they're so people-pleasing, people-clingy. Mentally strong people value alone time, make it productive, right? Mentally weak people can't be alone with their thoughts. I love when I travel to go do meetings, to go to hotspots, and I have that time where I'm in the air and I got my noise canceling headphones on and I can really think and read and just get to I love that alone time. Mentally strong people value that. Mentally weak people, if they're alone for a second, they got to turn on a TV, they got to pull out their phone, they got to scroll, got to scroll, right? 12th thing, how you feel about what you're owed. Mentally weak people, they feel the world owes them everything. That's the entitled masses that inhabit this planet. That's mentally weak behavior. What I'm owed, what my upline owes me, what I'm owed by integrity, what I'm owed by this carrier, what I'm owed by my downline, what I'm owed by that's mentally weak. When you start thinking about everybody owes you. Let me tell you something. The world, I'm owed happiness. Let me tell you something. The world doesn't owe you anything. Doesn't owe me anything. We're gonna have to go out there and get the good stuff. That's the mentally strong side of the spectrum. We're gonna go out and we're gonna get it. Does that make sense? You and I are gonna go out and we're gonna get it. And then the last one is how we feel about immediate results. Mentally weak people expect immediate results. That's why they're so discouraged all the time. They're so discouraged all the time because they expect immediate results. Mentally strong people know that results are going to be a fight, but it's going to be worth the fight. Guys, this is, again, look at this as a check my temperature. That's how I looked at this as I was preparing it. That's how I looked at it as I'm going through it. In fact, as I'm talking about it, I'm like, ooh, got to do that. Got to get better at that. Got to get better at this. Because we're all on that spectrum. The mentally weak world around us with its behaviors is going to pull us this way. We're going to have to make a conscious choice, pull ourselves towards the mentally strong side of the spectrum. Guys, Holly and I love you. We want you to win Thailand more than you can possibly imagine. And you're like, I want to win it pretty bad. I'm telling you, we want you to win it more than you do. I'm just telling you, there's nothing like seeing a new person win the trip for the first time. There's nothing like being at that welcome party with the brand new people. I promise you, I'm speaking to you from the past. I'm talking to you in the future. In the in between, one thing I know for a fact that happened is Holly and I were going around the welcome party and meeting all the new people, all the just because seeing that new excitement. I'm just telling you, seeing new people win. That's that's what fires up all the integrity partners here at the Alliance. We want you to be the next one. So let's focus on these things. Let's move towards being mentally tough. Let's get out. Let's get after it.